Here's a picture of Dutch artist Piet Mondrian. And Piet Mondrian liked to do these very modern pictures, which just had black lines separating into squares and rectangles. And he liked coloring them with primary colors. He thought they were very simple and non-complicated. And they really didn't have things as subjects. They were mostly blocks of color, and they would fit in very nicely with the other things that you had in the room. We're going to do our own example of a Piet Mondrian. We're going to take a piece of computer paper, white computer paper, and we're going to divide it into squares and rectangles, and we're going to use a ruler, a pencil, and a marker. Now, if you don't have a marker or your parents don't want to trust you with a Sharpie marker, you can always use a black crayon and go over your lines. In fact, at school, and if we were doing this project at school, I would bring in black paper that I cut on the paper cutter, and we would glue them on the paper and then color. But I'm not sure if everybody has black paper at home, so I'm just gonna show you how to draw it. And if it turns out that you're having a little trouble, just get someone to help you. It's not hard. I know you can color it all in. I know you can trace over the lines. I've seen how good you are in class. But I figure we got to work with what everybody has at home. Also, look, I can turn this paper around, and it doesn't really have to have a direction. It's just a beautiful series of blocks and colors. So, I've taken my piece of paper, and I usually put down some paper where I'm working, 2 sheets, so I don't make a mess on the table. Because if I am going to use a Sharpie marker, and sometimes it bleeds through on the table. Now, what you want to do is you want to make a series of lines. Now, I'm going to leave out my pencil. I'll just do it with the Sharpie. You can trace over after you do it with pencil, but I'll save a step here. I am just making a series of lines that go straight up and down, and lines that go across. Now, I don't want to make it look like a grid, and I don't want to make it look like a checkerboard. I want it to be a bit random. And what I mean by that is I don't want to just go straight down all the way across. I want it to make it look like I have some that are bigger and some that are smaller. So I'm just going to look at this and see how I like my shapes. Now, this is a very small rectangle here. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to split it in half. And I'm going to make this a little square in the middle. When Piet Mondrian did his pictures, he didn't have a set formula. He just looked at it and thought what would look good, what would make a nice design in the picture. Actually, he would tell people he thought it looked like he was a bird and looking down on a city, whereas a city has streets and the blocks would be the buildings. So I think it's kind of interesting. But really, he was all about the colors and the patterns, and not about making everything look perfectly even. And you can see here how I've made a series of lines, and some of the blocks I divided this way, and some of the blocks I made into a square or rectangle. I don't want any that are too big, but I'm just looking at what I think will make a nice pattern, and I'm not trying to, repeat anything. I don't want them to look all the same. After you've broken up your spaces and you feel that you have a really nice design that you like, that you could put on the wall, then you have to look at colors. And Mondrian liked his designs to be with what we call the primary colors. Primary colors are blue, yellow, and red. What's special about those three colors is if this was paint, you could pour these colors, you could mix them, and they would make other colors. The yellow and the blue make a green, the blue and the red make a purple, and the yellow and the red make an orange. He also sometimes threw in a black. And one of the things he did when he colored in was he could leave white spaces, but he also tried to not get colors next to each other. You can see here I have colors that are diagonal here and here, but I don't have any next to each other. And that's really why I did this one in black, because I would have had the three colors next to each other, and so if I got into trouble I could just throw black in, because that's what he would do. So you can see that's the next thing I'm going to do. I'm going to take my primary colors and I'm going to start to color in my patterns and see what you can do. Don't leave too many white spaces. I've left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've left 6 white spaces, that's all. And then the rest I colored in. So make sure that you don't get too next to each other. Spread them out and see what kind of Piet Mondrian that you can color and make. So I hope you enjoy this lesson. I hope you have a lot of fun with it. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.